Hello, my mimics, and welcome back to the Mimic Commentary. I believe it's episode 20. I think we're up in episode 23. I think this is 23. So last episode, it was pretty funny. Okay, so this episode we're essentially gonna do a cleanup. I'm gonna talk to all the NPCs, see if we're not missing anything, buy anything that we have left. And then we're going to decide if we're ready to do Schiefer River or if we're going to do Stormvale Castle. So while we're riding around, I wanted to talk about how this series has been going on so far, where my thoughts are currently with Elden Ring, and kind of just like do a little meta retrospective of our journey so far. You know, one of my goals with Elden Ring and the Mimic Commentary and my channel as a whole is not to just tell you the lore of Elden Ring, but I want to also tell a story. And here's a little bit of that. So the reason why we only use the items in our inventory to deduce what is going on in this series is to emulate what it's like to play the game without knowing how it ends. Where are our story beats? How do we get things to show? How do we get to new information? When does the game show us stuff? You know, what is the golden order of events? When should we learn things from our story? And I think this is done purposely. I think it's designed into the game this way. So, in episode 20, I introduced phantoms. We did an invasion, and then we fought the Bell. You know, I think we talked about phantoms before, but I really delved into it with the invasion, fighting the Bell-bearing hunter, getting invaded by the recusant, and that was to set the stage of how the spirit can be sent out of the body to hurt others, or perhaps help. You can be a cooperator, but to specifically in this case to harm, take something, you know, whatever. That was that part of the story. And then we got all the way over here towards Caelid. And I said I didn't want to go to Caelid. I don't want to go to Caelid. And I didn't make mention that when we get to the church, we would face Anastasia Tarnished Eater. I knew we would, but I didn't want to bring it up. I wanted it to be a surprise for our character, you know, for the narrative, for the story of the Mimic Commentary, this whole journey that we're taking. How does it play out? It actually worked pretty good because my power did actually go out when she was fighting. So it was just like there's wildfires going on in the area right now, and that was just like really cool. Not that the wildfires were really cool. I'm not happy that there's wildfires. It's just cool that I wanted Anastasia the Tarnished Eater to stop our progress. I didn't want to go into Caelid, and I wanted her to be the reason why. She's telling us it's too powerful. But because my power went out, and I turned the game back on, I was back in Summonwater Village. It was like the game knew to say, no, you're not ready, don't go ahead. The other thing that is important of when we learn information, like that's me trying to emulate that. You know, I'm trying to emulate when we learn information. We're not going to go to the Bestial Sanctum yet because of the information we might learn. But the dialogue that we had from D in a previous episode, that dialogue is rather rare. To get that dialogue, you have to make sure he doesn't go to the Round Table Hold. If you go to the Round Table Hold, I don't know if it's if you go to the Round Table Hold or if it's if you go to just outside of Limgrave, excluding the Weeping Peninsula, then D will also go to the Round Table Hold, and then he won't give you the dialogue where you walk up behind him. If you don't talk to him, because if you talk to him, you lose out on this. You have to walk up behind him, and then when you're behind him, you have to listen. And he says that right. He gives the rights, the last rites to the person who died. And he says something along the lines of, let me find it. He says, you know, there's no mistake. Death has left its mark once again. I'm sorry I cannot give you proper rights. Then he pauses. And then I did an edit, but you saw that you have to wait a little bit. You have to wait a little bit before he'll start talking again. And then he says, but at least you did not join those who live in death. Your soul will return to the Erd Tree in time. honeyed rays of gold deliver the spirit. So, because we chose to not follow Grace to Stormvale Castle, instead we decided to go in the opposite direction and do a little adventure, we were able to come across this character named D, and he gave us important information about how souls work, that no matter where someone dies, their soul is going to go to the Erd Tree. And then later, after we killed the Mariner, we were rewarded with more dialogue about how he found the mark of the centipede in this village. And that's why he cannot, that's why he can't hunt Deathroot anymore for Garank. So that was information that was hidden, that's hidden for the player, unless you do those specific events. You can't go to the Round Table Hold, you shouldn't follow Grace. You have to choose to not follow Grace, and then you're rewarded with extra information. This too, here's some more of that. Now, this is the Gale tunnel, I guess the jail tunnel. I think maybe it's the jail tunnel. We entered in from Limgrave. We came down the route down there. This is actually what I was looking for. That's why I put the mark there. And here's our friend Alexander. Here is a door. Can't open. It doesn't open from the side. And there's a boss room right there. So this is the end of a dungeon, but we came in from the other way. Now, we are going to get information from Alexander that is very pivotal for us to understand the world, its story, how it works, all because we're going off the beaten path. We're taking the story into our own hands. If the goal of the Tarnished is to restore the Golden Order by following Grace and fighting the Shardbearers, well, what does it mean if we don't follow Grace and we choose to do something else? What will we learn and what will be different? Is that what Melina means when she says that a Tarnished will surely, one of your kind will surely seek the Elden Ring, even if it does violate the Golden Order? Because this is kind of out of order. We are not following the path set for us. We're making our own story. So let's see what Alexander has to say.
I hadn't expected to see your face again. Are you heading to the Festival of Combat too? No need to be coy with me. Judging by the fine wallop you gave the old backside earlier, I would venture you're something of a warrior yourself. The mere thought of such a festival gets the blood pumping, eh? Now, according to my calculations, passing through this road should lead us to the Kaled Wilds. But, however you slice it, it seems we've reached a dead end. I'm sorry to have raised your hopes. It seems my calculations must have been off.
All right. So he's got more dialogue, but we like to break down everything line by line because we're trying to really see what the story's trying to tell us. So, we mentioned in a previous episode that he's an obvious homage to, the Katarina guys, Sigurd and Sigmar. They're not always the brightest, not always the smartest, but they're good-natured, good heart. So he says, I hadn't expected to see your face again, because we're coming out of order. This is rare interaction. If you progress through the game, if you open this door from this side without coming from the other side, and you speak with Alexander, you're going to miss out on dialogue. And if you go to the festival before coming through here, well, you're going to miss out on this as well. Are you heading to the Festival of Combat too? Oh, no need to be coy with me. Judging by the fine wallop you gave the old backside earlier, I would venture you're something of a warrior yourself. Yep, we are. The mere thought of such a festival gets the blood pumping. Blood. More about blood, it being pumped. I don't know if that's supposed to mean anything, but we've been noticing a lot of stuff about blood lately. I mean, look at all these blood stains. What do they do here? Are these people who fought Alexander in this and then died? Oh, that'd be interesting. Yeah, so maybe this is probably a friend, didn't expect here. Praise the friend. Yeah, you know what? We'll leave a message too. Visions of friendship. Perhaps someone will see this message and they'll think, what does visions of friendship mean?
Created to be a warrior vessel. Many great warriors reside within me, ever dreaming of becoming a great champion. It's my destiny, and the reason for which I quest. It is my ordeal, you could say. To test myself, to better myself, to fell ever greater foes. And then, one day, we'll be a single great champion. The greatest of them all. What do you think, eh? How do you rate my chances?
I think you have very good chances, Alexander. Very good chances. That was a very humanizing bit of dialogue from Alexander. We got to really learn not just how the jars work, but who he is and what he is doing and why he is doing it. Because we decided to go out of order, we get to learn more about these characters, who they are, what they become, their hopes, their goals, their fears. You know, this is what makes a story. It's the characters within it. It's not just that. Why do they put bodies in jars? It's, well, if you put bodies in jars, what does that make them? And this is what it makes them. By the way, I didn't finish reading the last dialogue. From the previous section of dialogue, according to my calculations, passing through this road should lead us to the Cave of the Wilds, but however you slice it, we've come to a dead end. Yeah, he meant he should be going on this road, but he took the wrong turn. So he was created to be a warrior vessel. Okay, he's supposed to be a vessel for warriors. When we see these big jars, we should start thinking, this is a vessel for warriors. They put the flesh, that exalted flesh in here. Makes sense that they can walk too. Perhaps they fight in the Colosseum. Maybe they fight in the Colosseum and then they walk to an Erd tree, to a minor Erd tree. Maybe that's the point. Many great warriors reside within me. Okay, so we have confirmation. There's a lot of warriors inside of a warrior vessel, inside of a warrior jar. Ever dreaming of becoming a great champion. So these are warriors who died, and they were not great champions. Each and every one of them was not a great champion. They were warriors, but they weren't champions. So they're forgettable. You're going to forget who they were because they weren't a great champion. But they're dreaming of becoming one. Together, all of them together are dreaming to becoming a great champion. It's my destiny, and the reason for which I quest. So Alexander, the warrior jar, he is one person, but he's one person made up of many people. And he is trying to fulfill those dreams of all of those people. That's a big burden. It is my ordeal, you could say, to test myself, to better myself, to fell ever greater foes. So he has to go through this struggle and this hardship in order to satisfy the dreams of all of those who came before. If we look at some of our items, a finger of corpse wax, furled like a hook. It is a relic of those who came before, left to help those who would come after. This is how we get it summoned to help people. That is also on the tarnished wizened finger. Remember, in the beginning of the game, we were not allowed to leave the Chapel of Anticipation without picking up the tarnished wizened finger from the dead finger maiden. Used to write messages. Your messages will be conveyed to other worlds, allowing other players to read them, just like that. A finger of corpse wax, so emaciated to the bone, is visible. It is a relic of those who came before, left to help those who would come after. So we're seeing that in action right here with Alexander. A relic of those came before to help those who come after. If Alexander gets this great story, if he has a memorable story, well then the dreams of all the champions will come true. They will be remembered, not for who they were as individuals, but who they were when they came together as Alexander, the Iron Fist, the warrior jar. Now, we haven't finished Alexander's story yet, but we know the prophecies. We know how the story will end. And I think you can agree that Alexander is one of the most memorable characters in a video game that you have ever interacted with. And all he is a jar with arms. And then one day, we'll be a single great champion, the greatest of them all. What do you think, huh? How do you rate my chances?
I was create many.
All right, then he repeats. So, I think we know his chances. They're pretty good. And I think that's one of the pieces of magic of Elden Ring is how they were able to tell these really elaborate and great stories by giving us so much yet so little. It's not overt. It's very subtle. And it's magical in that way. Oh, Trina Lily. You know what? That makes sense. Why is there a Trina Lily here? Well, we're talking about Trina and dreams and trying to talk to our Tarnished in a way. We found the Trina Lilies in Summer Wonder Village, and oh, this guy's coming after us. I guess he's supposed to prevent us. He's supposed to make us go, I don't want to go ahead. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Okay. I didn't even mention why the troll is here. He's supposed to prevent you from going up to Caelid if you're, not high enough level. And then you'll get stopped by Anastasia if you try and go to the church. But we found the Trina Lilies in Summer Wonder Village, and I said that, when we see Trina Lilies, we have to stop, look, listen. What is she trying to tell us? In that case, she could have been trying to tell us a lot of things. But it's up for us to decide what that message is. It's a dream. She is the saint of sleep, and she comes to people in dreams. And dreams are interpreted by the dreamer. We're the ones. This is our dream. We're the player controlling the Tarnished. This is our dream world. We get to interpret it the way that we want. But here we go. We have one of these lilies luring us to come up this way and then into that cave to meet Alexander. The Trina Lilies glow. They're glowing object. It's very video gamey. I mean, obviously, it's a video game, so of course it's video gamey. But the practicality of it, of luring a player to somewhere because of a shiny thing, is one of the methods that video games try to tell its story. Oh, I didn't pick up this loot over here. Well, we can see the story that was told here. These guys got attacked by wolves. There's also, so I killed that wolf for thin beast bone. If I need feathers, I have to kill birds. I have to kill the things that live in this world. But we picked up the Bone Peddler's Bell Bearing. Okay? The Bone Peddler's Bell Bearing allows us to buy thin animal bones and hefty beast bones if we give them to the Twin Maiden Husk. So, also I was talking about being lured by objects. There is a piece of treasure down there that's part of another cave in the future, but we're supposed to be lured by this piece of treasure. How do we get there? And then when we get the turnaround later in the game, we go, oh wow, so cool. So we have to, I killed that wolf and I got its beast bones. I can kill these guys for their beast bones, or maybe their beast livers, or let's say, what do I get from killing him? Thin beast bones. This one's gonna be feathers. I have to hunt and kill the wildlife, and there's not many living things in this world in Elden Ring, but you're still, as a video game, that's your goal is to kill things, to gain items, gain runes, yada yada. Like turtles. It's barbarous to kill a turtle, but if you want to craft pickled turtleneck meat, you have to hunt turtles. If I want to be able to craft arrows, I need to hunt birds and beasts to get their bones. But by killing this bell-bearing hunter, I don't have to kill wolves anymore. I can get beast bones and animal bones from this bell-bearing. If we remember, when we ring our bell, it summons spirits. So this is the spirit of a bone peddler who was already slain by the bell-bearing hunter. But when we get this bell, we don't have to do any more killing. When we use that bell-bearing, we could summon the spirit of a bone peddler and then just buy the bones. the Bone Peddler is already dead. The harm has already been done. There's no more harm that can come to him as a spirit now. So, just, we get to avoid that cycle of violence. If we wanted to craft roped fire pots, these, I'm gonna craft one right now so I can show you what they look like. So this is throw at a rearward enemy to inflict fire damage. This isn't very useful. This isn't very useful for PvE, for fighting against the things in the world. This is what it does. I throw a bomb behind me. That's very useful, though, in PvP. If I was to invade someone with my bloody finger, if I was to invade someone with my festering bloody finger, I would go into their world and I would try to interrupt their gameplay. I would try to disturb them in some way. They're trying to have fun with their friends, and I'm trying to stop that. Some people invite that in. There's gank squads and things like that, but for the most part, it's people who don't really want to be invaded. It just happens. And to get that string, you either need to get a bell bearing, and that bell bearing is very far into the game. If you know the string peddler's bell bearing, it's very far into the game. And if not, if you want to get string without that bell bearing, you have to kill demi-humans. Now, before we continue talking about the demi-humans, this is the sending gate. We're not going to use it, but we can see it's kind of blue. When we think blue, we're thinking it's stars. There's stars glinting. If we recall, starlight shards, prize in the Eternal City, passing flash of starlight. Glintstone is the amber of the cosmos. It is the residual life, so it's spirits. So we're kind of seeing star spirit magic here. Star and spirit magic into this whirling vortex of stars and more stars. And that will take us somewhere else. And look at these reliefs. It's glowing blue. So this is some, look at that spiraling cosmos, another spiral. And stars. So this is most likely, these sending gates are most likely constructed by the Eternal Cities to travel using starlight shards, star magic, and soul magic to travel long distances. And we'll talk more about that later. But I wanted to talk about needing string. And who do we have? Let's go to the nomadic merchant. Let's see if we have to purchase anything from him. So we fought a few demi-humans in the Weeping Peninsula. They have a queen. Bach is a demi-human who likes to sew. That needs string and yarn and things like that. We know that the demi-humans like to set traps for people. They will disguise themselves as trees. They will use a little bit of mimicry. They will leave what have you, they'll put trinkets, mostly garbage on the ground to lure into traps because they know that people like shiny objects. They are organized together. They have a monarchy with demi-human queens, and the demi-human queen we fought, see, look at them. This is intelligence. These are intelligent creatures. They wear clothes. They have rough and crude weapons, but they're still intelligent. They're they're not too different from you or I. They're demi-humans. They're still humans. They're still people. What was else I saying? Oh yeah, that we learn from the demi-human staff and the shattering crystal that a gift to the demi-humans to foster peace. It can be wielded even by those with low intelligence, but they're still smart enough to be able to cast spells and understand the magic of the soul and the stars and be able to do things like we can. So if you want to do PvP and have an advantage of ruining other people's games, I don't mean like ruining, like it's not negative, it's a video game. It's something you're supposed to do, but you're trying to interrupt their experience. Then you would also have to go out into the world and kill these sentient, intelligent groups of people in order to make it easier to disrupt the players who are playing the game. And that's a very interesting narrative design, that the storytelling that's built into the game mechanics. I'm adding morality and judgment and an interpretation to these gameplay events, trying to deduce why is this the case? Why can't I just have string? Why do I need a bone peddler to keep buying animal bones? And why is it a ghost? Why are we summoning ghosts to buy these things? And why do the spirits look fondly on us? You know, these are the type of things that we're trying to answer. So what do we have here that I could buy that I didn't buy before? Just in case, I guess we'll buy all the Trina arrows. I think we're good on Trina lilies. I don't need to buy any of that. Good on a finger, and that's good. Okay. We're going to go to check out Kenny Ken and see if he has any dialogue for us. Fortunately, I might have to kill some demi-humans. What sword are we sticking with? Oh, you know, I think... We'll hold on to the Uchi. I said I would use it. I don't think the Uchi get to... Actually, if we do the river, this is not gonna be a good weapon. I think I need something stronger. What do I have that's really good? If I did Claymore, Lion's Claw, Sacred Claymore. Actually, what's... I don't know. We'll hold on to this for right now. Maybe I can upgrade it. So let's talk to Ken. Let's see if he has anything for us. See, even here we saw that. We kind of saw the storyline here with the demi-humans being intelligent. I don't... I'll have to wait. You know, Ken is part of the True Order. Oh, geez. Sorry, guys. You know what? We're gonna do something. We're gonna do something. This is a cleanup episode, so there are things that we have to do. Sorry, demi-humans. You know I don't like doing this. And we got that string. Okay, what does Ken have to say?
I must begin my search post-haste for a true and stalwart lord of the proper lineage to take the reins of Limgrave.
Okay, yeah, we knew that. He's looking for stalwart proper lord, but I remember he says it's really light out today. Oh, late day. Yeah, we're getting these when you getting a lot prettier colors when we do late day. So I'm gonna attack Ken. Because he says he's for the True Order. He gave us an Erd Steel Dagger, which is an Erd Steel Dagger with grass crest engraved upon its blade, carried by Erd Tree royalty for self-defense in time of peace. Though forged a high standard, this weapon is difficult to wield. Attack power also scales with faith. So he gave us that. It leads us to believe when he says the True Order, whatever order for the Erd Tree. But let's see if we can learn more about him. We're going to have to attack him so we could do something else in the future. I'm not going to kill him, though.
Yourself this instant. Enough. This is madness.
I know it's madness. I have to do it. I'm sorry.
Wretched tarnished. I am Kenneth Haight, and I have seen quite enough.
There we go. Look at that. He cast a Golden Order Fundamentalist spell onto his dagger. So the True Order, and then an Erd Tree, the Erd Tree spell. So he has Erd Tree knowledge, but he's also a Golden Order Fundamentalist. So now we found another Golden Order Fundamentalist. We have Radigan, we have D, and now we have Kenneth Haight. Kenneth Haight, Limgrave Heir. Okay, we're gonna leave. Let's get out of here. We're not looking for... Oh, no, wait. He might fall to his death if I do that. If I ran, I don't want him to chase me off the edge. I gotta run out this way. Ugh. I don't want to kill me either. God, he's aggressive. Ken, leave me alone. Okay. So yeah, he's a Golden Order Fundamentalist. He cast a spell on his weapon with a Golden Order Fundamentalist on there. So once we start learning more about the Golden Order and what that truly means, we'll get a clearer picture on who Kenneth Haight is and why does he choose, why is he searching for a better heir over Godric? Now that the sun is going down, the moon is still out. The moon is out most of the time. I want to talk about who should we go to next? Let's go to Selin. What's the fastest way to Selin? If we go... Yeah, if we go this way. I think if we go this way. We've noticed that in areas that are covered by shadow, like the bridge where we meet Yura after fighting Nereus, if he's not there, or at night, the spirit jellyfish come out. And the spirit jellyfish are a floating spirit that illuminates surroundings, prone to tears. The jellyfish girl searches for a distant home, will bravely spew poison at foes on the summoner's behalf. It seems her name is Aurelia. Okay, so, you know, perhaps all of the spirit jellyfish are children, perhaps they're not, perhaps they're all crying, perhaps they're not. There's actually a good example over there. This catacomb, if we all recall, we played at night, so we were able to find this catacomb easily because the spirit jellyfish were leading us to there because they were playing at nighttime. So, you know, when you play at night, the spirits come out. So when the sun is down, the Erd tree is always up. The Erd tree is always glowing. But the sun isn't. You know, the sun, even though it's kind of like its light is drowned out by the Erd tree, it still illuminates the world. The day is brighter than the night, regardless if the Erd tree is there or not. Day is brighter than night. And the spirits are not out during the day. The spirits come out under the stars. They come out under the moon. And we're getting a little bit of that kind of like the physical is in the day. That's kind of the masculine. Radigan, he's a masculine character. He's the king consort. His thing is a little bit red too. It's a bloody eye. It's a fake eye engraved with an Elden Rune. Or maybe it's not a fake eye, but it is an eye removed from a socket. Engraved with an Elden Rune. It's not like it it was an eye and they put the Elden Rune there. Oof, that's tough. But he's like he boosts all the physical stats, and he's a man. He's masculine. The moon, as we will see later throughout the game, but just for knowing in general, there's the sun setting, a beautiful sunset. And it's interesting that the sun sets on the dragon church. We'll talk about that when that becomes more relevant. Well, we said sun realm, and there's no more sun realm anymore, I guess. The sun realm is setting. This is the setting of the sun realm, the end of the sun realm. It's a setting sun. It comes to an end. But the moon is usually seen as feminine. Not just in Elden Ring, but in a lot of literature, human culture. The sun and religions, ancient religions, modern religions, the sun is masculine, the moon is feminine. And I think there's a lot of moon magic. Not just like, I'm not saying it was like Elden Ring moon magic, but there are mystical and fantastical qualities given to the moon, and that it can cause, a better communion with like spirits under a full moon or things like that. So we have this duality where the day is kind of the time for the living. But at night, we start getting more spirits. We get the spirit jellyfish. We get the Knights Cavalry. So that should tell us something about the Knights Cavalry. The Knights Cavalry usually drop either their weapons, and I don't know if they've any dropped an Ash of War yet. I think the one on the bridge, doesn't he drop Royal Knight's Resolve when we beat him? Or Impaling Thrusts? He drops a memory. So the Knights Cavalry are most likely spirits. We saw the horse get summoned out of the ground, so they're not corporeal beings. They're kind of spirits, and they can only come out at night. That's where the Knights Cavalry, because they're spirits. The Deathbird, which was an old burning death and ghost flame, and we have, which is an old part of the old death rituals. We have the Sacred Scythe resembling a pair of white wings. That Deathbird had little white wings. According to pagan beliefs, white-winged maidens are said to be Death's gentle envoys. So there we go. There's our death. There's Death's gentle envoy. It's a bird that comes out at night, where the spirits are around to be reaped by the Deathbird. Maybe we'll see how that, if there's more to that. But that's kind of like how we're seeing that connection with the spirits and nighttime. Thinking of that duality. Why spirits are better in the dark than in the light? I mean, we'll see that later.
There you are. Shall we commence the lesson?
Yeah, I wanted to buy all of the sorceries. Because we only had this Karian sorcery. Even among Karian sorcerers, a notably effective technique. This one is bestowed upon the enchanted Karian knights, who combine this art with their swordsmanship to maintain pressure upon their foes, striking in waves of steel and sorcery. And the Karian sigil shows a staff and a sword, so the Karians are a warlike royal family. We are going to want this one. We like, Celia, Town of Sorcery. So when we ever see more stuff about Celia, we want to come back to their how the Olivinus Conspectus is interested in stars. The Eternal Cities do collect Starlight Shards. So perhaps Celia is connected to the Eternal Cities because of the Gunstars. I need 3,000 souls, or 3,000 runes. Oops. That be enough? Perfect.
You wished very well.
So we want to buy that one. I like this one. Fools often roam in packs. I like that. And then we need Crystal Barrage. So I need 1,500.
Learning is impressive. You make me proud to have grown little legs so readily. You
That's cute.
must have a fabulous teacher.
So it's kind of funny that, I don't think she's, it's not a direct comment to playing this way, but it's interesting that, the way that we use our information in this playthrough is based on things in our inventory and what we know. And she says, our appetite for learning is impressive. And we make her proud to have grown little legs so readily. It's early in the game. We're only in Limgrave. There's so much more to this world to discover. Yet we are so hungry for knowledge that, we are going for it. I'm going for it. Ignore it if you think I don't have the guts. Let's see. I think if we do 8, I'm not doing math. I'm not a math guy.
You wish to very well.
So, forgive me when I don't do math. You know what? She might have dialogue if we buy everything, so let's buy everything.
You wish to continue the lesson very well.
Alright, now let's see. Do we get extra dialogue from buying everything?
You wish to very well.
No. Okay. Alright. Well, we have all that information when we want to look at it again. I guess we should go to Yura. Talk to Vare. Sellen's also hanging out in the Witchbane ruins. Since she is doing... we saw... Thinking of spirits, and she is a glintstone sorcerer, so she studies souls and the stars. As seen by the spells that she sells too, she also studies the stars. Her name's Sellen, sounds like Celia. The phantoms, we send our phantom out from our physical body to have our soul impact the world. It's not physically attached to us, it's our soul, it's our spirit. It's kind of like, these videos, kind of like, it's like a video is kind of like a digital soul. Like, I'm not physically talking to you right now. I'm speaking into a microphone and then recording it with my software and then processing that into a video, and then you're watching it later at a later date. This isn't physically, what you're listening to right now isn't physically me. It's a recreation of what is happening right now in my house while I play Elden Ring and talk about it. It's essentially my spirit. It's my soul. We don't have to be spiritual people to get a spiritual sense of what's going on. We can still infer what spirituality might mean for maybe a secular interpretation. And I think that what the idea that what we leave behind is supposed to be kind of part of our spirit, that's the residual life, I think that is an apt reading. But that's all to say that this is Sellen's most likely physical body in physical pain. She can't even talk or think or act straight. She doesn't know what's going on. But her spirit is being projected somewhere else. And because of that, she's able to teach us. She's cool, calm, and collected. Her soul survives even though her body is in anguish. And doesn't that venerate? Doesn't that venerate the repose of the soul? The shield of the guilty, shield made to venerate a maiden whose eyes were crushed by the briars of sin before being reborn in these lands. Venerating the repose of the soul. The shield boosts focus. Isn't that interesting? When we start looking at the narrative devices of why things happen, or the gameplay device of why things happen the way we do, we start to piece this story together. What are our characters doing and how are they doing it?
You must not forget, though, those who partake in dragon communion will one day shed their humanity, their hunger for dragon, their yearning only worsens until the floodgates burst, unleashing eternal torment. The strength of a mighty dragon. Magnificent, but deadly. It's no surprise that dragon communion is ruinous.
So, Friedrich Nietzsche, I believe he's German. He's a German philosopher. Here's a quote from him. "He who fights too long against dragons becomes a dragon himself. And if you gaze too long into the abyss will gaze into you." Nietzsche's philosophy is very important for the heavily influential manga series Berserk that Miyazaki is a massive fan on. There's Berserk references all over the place. It's one of my favorite pieces of art as well. I even have the Dragon Slayer tattooed on my arm. If you're a fan of this channel, you know how much I love Berserk, how important it is to me. The idea that we will get... Nietzsche's actually directly quoted in Berserk multiple times, but we get that he who fights too long against dragons becomes a dragon himself. He who stares too long into the abyss will gaze into you. If we think of Artorias of the Abyss from Dark Souls, he's one half of that. The abyss, he fought against the abyss, and the abyss stared back at him, and he became a monster. Dragon communion as well. Those who partake dragon communion will one day shed their humanity. So the hunger for dragons, their yearning, only worsens. So to be a dragon to do dragon communion is to hunt dragons, feast on their hearts, and then become them. But it never stops. It's insatiable. It's a burning fire. Fire consumes, and it does not stop till it's put out. It's magnificent. The strength of a mighty dragon, magnificent but deadly. Till the floodgates burst, unleashing eternal torment. It's no surprise that dragon communion is ruinous. He who fights dragons for too long shall soon become one. The strength of the mighty dragon. It's magnificent but deadly. But that's not the deadly part. Isn't what matters. The hunger that can never be satiated. The hunger that can never be satiated as someone who partakes in dragon communion, to always need more and more and more power, to need to consume everything, will unleash eternal torment. There is a spot where we should stop consuming. We don't need everything. There should be a point where we can just be happy. And if you can't find that happiness and you keep looking for more and more and more and more, if you keep trying to consume until there's nothing left, that will be eternal. That's eternal torment. You'll never be happy.
It's time you set off, I should think, to Castle Stormvale on the cliff, where grace would guide you, if you seek the Elden Ring, maidenless as you are.
Yeah, we learned that from Roderica that Vare also, she said, were you also... Oh, that guy's fighting him. Enticed by the man in the white mask, were you? So, we're not the only one that Vare is trying to talk to. And it's interesting that he hangs out at that site. Grace, he knows Grace is going to point there. Perhaps he was a Tarnished too, and he saw Grace, or he's been talking to many Tarnished. So we can't trust Vare. He wants us to follow Grace. We're still going to follow Grace, but we have to be careful to think, why does Vare want us to follow Grace? What is he hoping that we see?
It's you again. Always a pleasure. Care to purchase anything?
I think we have everything here.
Goodbye for now.
Can we strength... Oh, we have a lot of stones. Is there anything that I would want to upgrade? Oh, Blood's House. Oh, you know what? Yeah, look. I have a lot of smithing stone ones. Let's pop. You know, Bloodhound's Fang might be something we need to pull out. Because it gets tough. Especially down in the... down below. Yeah, that's fine. I don't mind doing that. I said I would use the... I might not use the katana yet. The sword spear. I do like the sword spear. Oh, can I use the golden halberd yet? If I two-hand it, can we use it? No. Can't use it yet. Can I use the spell? Nope. Just throw it in the air. Let's see what other weapons we have on us that we could strengthen. I'm not gonna buff this up. I'm just using it as a sacred relic, a sacred stick. But what would be useful if we were going? I like the sword spear. I think we're gonna be using this in the future again. So, okay. Oh, can I? So yeah, Vare, you know, we can't really trust him yet. We don't know much about him yet. I don't know if he said anything about the round table hold yet. So I think that's what will be our next bit of dialogue with him. We're going to go see the next merchant and continue this cleanup. Oh, now we have the Erd tree leaves falling on us. You know, we've so far we've learned a lot about Erd tree burial, how the Erd tree seems to, you know, its runes can be found almost everywhere. Its influence can be found everywhere. It's in all of these. Maybe it's not in the fruit is turned into raisins, and the raisins have wispy spirits on them. So we have Roa raisins, which are kind of spiritual, but then Erd leaf flowers and tarnished sunflowers, the Erd leaves that are falling down, beast blood glinting with gold. We're seeing this influence of gold everywhere. The rune bears are rune bears because they are predators and they eat beasts that have beast blood glinting with gold, and they eat. They have the luscious fruit of life in their livers, so they're getting a lot of runes from these animals that probably are eating Erd leaf, which comes from the Erd tree. We're seeing this ecosystem of runes coming from the Erd tree, coming from Grace, going into practically everywhere in the Lands Between, and kind of like that cycle of life. And when we get a boost of runes for... Yes, it's us again. When we get a boost of runes coming down from the Erd tree, is that possibly the Erd tree, you know, ensuring that the things that are eventually going to be fed into its roots, the souls that are going to return to the Erd tree on those honeyed rays, I'll buy one of those, is that part of its like life cycle? Like it's purposely nourishing the world. Let's buy... Yeah, we'll buy this iron round shield. You know, we learned a bit about, like, look at the motif on here. Let's... Yeah, we're done. So let's look at that, and... So if we look on the Shamshir, it kind of has these, like... You see it at the hilt. Squiggly lines. Maybe plants. Also on this iron round shield. And... we found it by a guy. He's sitting near the coast. He's by water. I don't know. Are these... Is this culture, this iron round shield, tied to this weapon? This is iron. So since it's an iron round shield, and it's kind of maybe similar to the Shamshir, whatever culture made the Shamshir, most likely iron, probably Iron Age. We can start dating if we find any bronze items. Like, let's see, this is an iron shield, but it's gilded. So both iron, but this one has gold on it. So this one was older. And gold is a much newer thing, so they're gilding it, I guess maybe letting go of the past, moving to the future. But I'm curious if we're going to see anything made of bronze. And then maybe we could date that we went from the Bronze Age into the Iron Age with any of the items that we find. We'll see. Where else? Who else can we visit? I think... Oh, we have the War Master and we have Roderica. Oh, and the Finger Reader Crone. And I think that's it. Okay, let's go up to them. But we'll go around this way. Trying not to use Sites of Grace for doing this. We want to kind of look at the lay of the land. And we're going to skip re-exploring Weeping Peninsula right now. We'll look back at the Weeping Peninsula again later. But as our cleanup recap episode, we're just going to be running around Limgrave. There we go. We could see... Oh, there's an item there. Oh. Good thing we went in the Spirit Spring to check for that. So let's go... Let's see. I guess this will be the best way to go there. Here's another one of those things. You know, a little bit of that gameplay, a little bit of that adventure, you know, enjoying the world for what it is. Maybe I have to take the Spirit Spring to get to it. You know, that item... This item that we're about to get right now... Yeah, I have to use the Spirit Spring. Or maybe I could jump down. You know, the item we're going to get... Maybe it's not too spectacular. Maybe it's not that meaningful. Maybe we could find meaning in it. But just because we're choosing to play the game, we're not using grace, we're getting rewarded. I wish those guys weren't yelling. Is that a skull? I see a skull in the middle one. Spires. We'll look at... we'll look at these guys later. This is... We'll probably try and date when these were made. Based on those spires. Okay, I guess we'll look for things with those spires and then we'll try and date those together. Where was that item? Try jumping. Therefore... Oh, these guys are telling us it's down here. Where is it? Is it over here? Oh, if I jump... Oh, please. Okay. Goodness. Alright, that's good. I want to... What's the best way to get there? I guess I could do it this way. No, okay. I just have to do this. A guy camping out here. By the water. Okay, what does he have? Luck. Our luck. Was this guy lucky? Was this guy lucky or what? And bada bing, bada boom. Solid ground beneath our feet. Alright. I wish these guys weren't screaming so much. Alright, let's go hit up Roderica. Our War Master. And then let us talk to our first Finger Reader Crone.
A pleasure to see you. Did you give the little chrysalids the message? That I love them, and that despite my craven heart, I'm sure I'll be joining their club soon enough.
One of the things we're going to look out for Roderica is why she has this closeness to spirits. How she saw that the spirits look favorably upon us. She says that she has a craven heart, but she has a lot of care. She has a lot of love to give. And I think that's something we'll really see about Roderica throughout her story, is this desire... I don't know if it's a desire to be loved, or if it's a desire to give loved, or if it's one and the same, just a desire to share love. And the fact that she has so much care for spirits, that she cares so much for those who have already died, including Aurelia. She cares so much for those that have already died, those who have already lived their lives and have moved beyond to a spiritual plane. She still cares for them, and she wants to show them kindness, love, and affection. That speaks leaps and bounds for who she might be, what type of character she is, what she represents, and if there are any other characters like her, what does that mean for them?
Hello.
Glad to see you safe. Here to learn a battle art or two.
You know, Knight Bernal, he's an interesting guy. He's obviously an older warrior. He's got a scar on his face. He's got the big sword. He's got the cool armor. And all he does here is he teaches us battle arts. Regardless if we follow the Golden Order or not, he just wants to share these memories, you know? He says that, like, what does he say? He says that there's a myriad of battle arts in these lands he's yet to discover, so he's looking for these old ashes of war, these old memories of war. He's looking to learn all of this history, all these memories. Mementos of all the warriors who raised their arms in battle, lost and died. He is trying to look for the memories of all the warriors, just the warriors and the memories of these warriors. Oh my god. He's searching for the memories of all the warriors who died in these lands. He's looking to remember their stories of true chivalric romance. A fine tale, all told. We're getting more of that storytelling, that memory, that telling someone's story, and sharing that story with others. That's how I fell in love with the sword, the arts of combat. He fell in love with the sword, the arts of combat, because they create ashes of war, they create memories, and they create stories. It grants meaning even to falling in battle, to death itself. So this old warrior,
Until we meet again.
finds meaning in the stories of battle. Just the fact that there are stories to be told, memories to be had of those who lived and those who died. That gives meaning to even death itself. You know, it's again that spirit thing. If you read a Song of Ice and Fire, and it stuck with you and impacted you in some way, and George R. R. Martin died, the story doesn't mean any less because he's dead. It's like Shakespeare. Everyone knows who Shakespeare is because we know all of the stories he's written. He lives on forever because his stories kept being retold. He gets to live on forever because of that. Although we can't touch or feel him or see him, his spirit lives on because we remember him. Shakespeare, George R. R. Martin, Nietzsche, you know, anyone who has had a profound impact on the world that their story keeps getting told. They still get to live on. Now, do they live on as a golden phantom or do they live on as a red phantom? You know, that's how do you want to be remembered, as a hero or a villain? I'm saying more of this Goal Road, Sunrealm Road, and it goes around Stormvale Castle. Now, Grace is telling us, or guidance is telling us to go up into the castle. We have to go get the shard, but we're going around the castle, and we find, the map tells us, oh, wait. I didn't mean to drink that, but that's okay. So, who do we have here? This is a finger reader crone. She's going to read fingers. She has, for bells, if you put a bell bearing in there, it'd make music. So she is tied to the spiritual arts in some way. She doesn't have eyes. She's a finger. Well, oh, you know what? It's not that she doesn't have eyes. Those look like never, like the sockets are empty completely, but are they, do they have an end or are they? Yeah, she doesn't have eyes, yet she sees. Since, if we, one blind to another, this is a prophet's blindfold, so deprivation of sight allows someone to see into the future. This person doesn't have any eyes. They do spirit magic. They read fingers, finger reader. Palm reading is a very old tradition, I think originating out of India, that you read someone's palm, the lines in someone's palms, and you try to foretell their fortune and their fate, see what the future might hold for them. She's kind of bent back. Those are her feet. Yeah, very bent with age. She has charms around her neck. Can I see any runes? I don't see any runic ciphers. She has a crown. But we're seeing she has no eyes. She has a method for calling spirits, like as do we with our bell. At least doing some sort of spirit communion. If we, oh, you know, this is yeah, okay, here we go. This is moving in the wind, yet it's making no sound. Moving in the wind, yet making no sound. And if we look at Each a soundless bell used to summon spirits, and a spirit nestle close to it when they hear the bell. So if we were to give her our bell bearing, it wouldn't make a sound, but the spirit would be beckoned. It would be called. So let's talk to her.
Please, I can read them. Your fingers, please, your fingers.
Okay, so we're going to show her hands. She's going to do palm reading for us. She's going to read our future.
Bless you. Head to the foundation of gold tarnished. Traverse Rhea Lucaria, glintstone eventide, and reunite the half crescents at the grand lift. Oh, but the bridge is collapsed and cannot be crossed. Only, why should that matter? Stormvale Castle still stands tall.
Okay. So that was some pretty heavy prophetic, a prophetic reading that she gave us. Oh, the bridge is collapsed, yet there's a way we can still go that way. Now, if we jump down here, we have no way of getting back up except for traveling by grace. We can see that the bridge is collapsed. There's treasure over there, but we have treasure right here. We're actually lured over here by the treasure. And when we turn, we can see, oh, we can go this way. Now, using our prophetic powers, we can see that there's a path. This will circumvent all of Stormvale Castle. We can skip Stormvale Castle by going around it. We found a Nomadic Warrior's Cookbook. Soft cotton, stanching balances, and stone arrow. You know what? Next episode, we will break down what that prophecy was that the Finger Reader Crone gave us. We will go over our Nomadic Warriors Cookbook, and then we will either take Stormvale Castle or go down Schiefer River Well. I don't know if we're ready for the well yet. I don't know if we're ready. Oh, we didn't stop to say hi to Patches. Next episode, we'll also stop and say hi to Patches. All right, everybody. You know the drill. Let's do the thing.